We're starting the show. You're 12 minutes late. Davis is going to be here 2 minutes.
Typically I'm not late, so I own it.
Yeah,
Things are
no.
going. It's that day. It's that day, Tom, where things are just not.
I was just thinking about, I said, because some days you're not feeling the show. It's like, well, but you're doing it anyway. I mean, you have different levels of energy, right?
Yeah, no, it's just everyday stuff is, some days are harder than others, right? And today's just like one of those days where I'm not my best today, but tell me about you.
Look at your hair. Wow.
I know, right?
I love it.
It's very, very dark auburn. Hopefully it'll tame down. I've got a rash from it and everything. It's very exciting.
I saw the post on Facebook. Can you give me the corn picture? I'm opening a website, women with things in their hair.
Do you know how funny that was? It was just a moment of humility, right, Tom, where we got crab legs and potatoes and corn, and I'm just having at it because I'm not trying to impress anybody. We're having a birthday dinner and I don't have a boyfriend around. I'm having at it. I go to brush my teeth and I look at the mirror and I just have a glob of corn just sitting on my hair, and I thought, yeah, that's where I'm at right now. That's fine.
2020.
Yeah, that's who
So
I am.
nobody gave you a heads up on the corn in your hair?
Well, we weren't really looking at each other. I mean, the way you're sitting, we weren't sitting at the table. We were sitting in the living room all scattered about. You know what I mean? And I think if my daughter would have seen it, she's seen me make mistakes before.
Of course.
And instead of saying anything, like once we went to a public event and I spoke to someone and I came back to tell her how excited I was, and I had a piece of hamburger bun on my lip. She was in middle school. So when I walk and I'm telling her all this stuff and she looks at me and she's disgusted with me. She turns her lip up and she goes,
how does somebody, you can't be responsible for that. Unless you're a noted, buzzsaw eater.
We were going to an event and I was hungry. So I went through the McDonald's drive-thru and I shoved a hamburger down my throat.
She's always a lady.
I'm such a lady. And yeah, so that happened, but whatever.
Well, we're here now. We made it through the weekend. Made through the weekend was great. Did you have a nice weekend?
It was okay. We had been working on the house, and so we were a little bit trapped because we couldn't go because they needed the hose and the windows and the electricity. So we had to kind of stay in. It was just one of those weekends.
Of
It
course.
was Will's birthday on Sunday, so we got cheesecake, which is his favorite, and we ordered special food and did stuff like that. But we were inside. Tell me about your weekend.
I had a great show on home shopping yesterday.
Yes.
I was very excited. So Saturday, I spent all day pretty much prepping for it.
Okay.
It's all that behind the scenes things because I haven't been on in a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
So I had to retest my Wi-Fi, I'm trying to cast because I needed a monitor. And so I'm trying to reinvent that whole thing. So, I mean, I'm sure the vendors all think that you just sit down and you start yammering and you've worked for 10 minutes.
Right.
No, it's all the stuff that goes on behind the scenes. So I can't count on them, HSN doing B-roll anymore. I mean, I did a show the other day, earlier last month, and they never had B-roll for the product, and the product didn't sell well. The B-roll was great, but they gave it 2 shots and it's gone.
Yeah.
So I worked with the vendor to get pictures.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say, they were like, what do you want? What do you need? It took 3 times to get the stuff I needed. And then I even went back and I took some pictures myself because I wanted to make sure I'm going full guns blazing.
Yes.
Daddy needs a 4th quarter item. All right, I'm bringing Davis in for a second.
Okay.
So they had me in Saturday, but then they canceled that show and then they put me in Sunday.
Okay.
So,
all right.
I mean, they wanted, stand down, Davis. Oh, I like that. So they wanted 350 to sell, and we sold over 1,100 pieces.
How many minutes?
10 minutes.
Stop it. That's so good. How many dollars is that?
I was a hero. I can't talk. I don't want. I'll tell you off. That's enough information.
Well,
I don't want to get too much inside information. People
what you said is true. People
not my stuff.
People that watch HSN and QVC, they do I think we just walk on set and it's all magic. Really, all the work is behind the scenes. All the work is the prep and getting ready, and nothing is really an accident. Just like Matt's showing here with Ronco, apparently.
Here's Mr. Look at Me.
Yeah. Wait, there's more.
Wait, there's more.
Yeah. And so you getting those extra pictures and you doing that makes a difference, because
it would have been me standing with binoculars and just talking versus I had 7 pictures ready to go, which was not, they weren't provided. I had to get them and make them and just do it. I had to create the whole pitch myself. It's funny because sometimes, the hard part is coming up with a pitch.
Yes.
Because if you don't do it right, you're only going to get one chance, pretty much. You can't say, well, we'll go out and throw it out and see if we get it, and then I'll improve it as we go along. You may never get chance number 2 or chance number 3.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. Because, I mean, I'm sure you've had people approach you, and Matt probably has too, where they say, oh, I want to bring this product to HSN or QVC. It's not that easy, and you don't get that many shots. And if you get a bad host or a bad hour, or production just doesn't work in your favor. I've had at least 3 products I can think of the top of my head that had 1 shot and they failed.
Right.
1 shot.
And all the work is getting that one item up on the air, right? I mean, you work as hard for a dog as you do for a winner. I mean, it's all QA samples, it's all B-roll, it's all points and productions and rehearsing and getting ready to go, and you don't know what it's going to be. Hopefully,
all the work is front loaded. I just
Who
had a
told
new
Davis
client
it's time for
try
him
to
to
call
talk?
me. What? All the work is front loaded. I just had a new client calling me a moment ago.
Well, do you guys get what I get, where I have women on a regular basis say, I want to do what you do. Who's your boss? Who do I talk to?
How can I take your place?
So I can have your job.
Yes.
I get it all the time.
Well, how much live TV have you done? Go out and take an improv class, put together a tape, and go for it.
Yeah, right.
It is very interesting because you used to be, you had Network 4 or Spree or something else, some second or overnights at Home Shopping where you could go and be crappy, where it doesn't really matter. I mean, that's where I learned my craft back in the '87. I worked from 3 a.m. to 6 a.m., 3 hours a night, 6 days a week for 6 months. Being horrible in the beginning, I'm sure.
Right.
I was Terry Toner's backup doing America Store airings, selling 3 pieces, and I did that 100 times before they ever let me on HSN1.
Yeah, I mean, now how do you come out in and you're ready to go? Because now they don't have any overnights anymore. There's no small networks anymore. I mean, if I was going to try to become a host or a guest at HSN, I probably would try to practice on Amazon or something, Amazon Live, just
maybe
for the
maybe so. Well, I think the misconception too is, I think because we make it look easy, they do think it's easy, right? They think you can just chit chat and there's not a lot of work going on upstairs, but you know how many minutes you've said something, how many phrases you need to say, when you need to say it, how you need to appear relaxed. Maybe you're sweating buckets, but you have to appear as if you're having the best time of your life.
This is a ball. No, and it's a fun job. There's no doubt about that. Nobody's saying it's brain surgery, but there's a skill set. I mean, I walk in, I got my bullet sheet right next to the camera, so it pretends, like you said, it looks like you're having a party, but no, you're working. You're not going to just fill the air with a bunch of nonsense. Hopefully, every time you open your mouth, you're saying something that adds to the presentation.
Yeah, 100%. And I'm going to send this podcast to my bosses so they can watch it.
We're working hard. I swear we are. All right. Well, we know when Davis shows up, we know what time it is. I love that. It's one of my favorite movies.
Is this going to be more numbers?
Yeah, it's we're talking about percentages of import, domestic, tranquility. I don't know. No, this is about one of my favorite comedians. I was trying to think of a good topic for the movies, and I said, you know what? Let's do one of my favorite comedians of all time, Spencer Tracy. No, I'm kidding. Steve Martin.
Oh, damn it.
No, sorry.
Yes.
What did she say?
Steve Martin. We're talking about Steve Martin today. We're talking about his top domestic box office films.
Wow.
Which of these 4 actually movies that I consider absolute classics? 4 movies. And afterwards, I'll tell you what, these are not the top selling movies that he's done. But out of these 4, which one had the biggest box office? Okay.
Worldwide?
No, domestic.
Thank you.
Domestic box. I know that's a huge difference, but Yeah, domestic box office. We're going to start with a movie that I really loved, and I forget that I love it until I see it on and I get caught up in it. 1991's Father of the Bride.
Yeah.
Father of the Bride was a great film, and I put that in there especially because my daughter is getting married next May in
Nice.
Brooklyn at some sort of boathouse on a lake in the park, Prospect
Oh,
Park,
how
is it?
sweet. In Prospect Park. That's very close to me. That's so
Yeah.
sweet.
You're invited.
So look for the invite. I'd love to have you there.
You guys aren't even
So
Facebook friends.
Ooh, Tom's calling us out.
wow,
Tom's
wow.
calling us out.
We are close. Okay.
I think we should have an episode about Facebook and about who's friends and what.
why
I think that's a
Belinda
very
deleted Matt.
interesting topic.
I would love to do that, and I appreciate you and I have had great conversations recently, and I appreciate your willingness to talk about things. We disagree on things, and that's fine. That's what America's all about.
Or maybe not.
So back to the important stuff. Father of the Bride is the first movie. Okay,
Yes.
you guys are familiar with that movie.
Yes.
Second is probably my favorite movie of his.
There's a lot
The
of chit
Jerk.
chat. Let's just get to the quiz.
The Jerk. Second is The Jerk.
Okay.
1979. Anybody remember the name of his character, Tom Wise?
Is Nathan?
He kept looking
No.
it up in the phone book, right?
No, it's Naven. Naven R.
Don't ever
Johnson.
correct me on the show. Say goodbye to
was
Matt.
born-
Last day on the show.
He was born a poor black child. I don't think he'd be allowed to do this movie anymore.
Yeah.
But it's The Jerk, 1979. Number three is Three Amigos.
Oh my goodness, I forgot about that.
Right? Remember that? Tom, remember that move? Remember this?
You know what? Go on.
Turn your head and cough.
I don't think I saw that ever cover to cover.
No? Oh my God, great movie. Three Amigos. His name was Lucky Day. His character was named Lucky
I
Day.
don't remember that either.
1986.
Okay.
And last but not least, 1983, The Man with Two Brains.
Oh, I don't know that I saw.
You don't know? Oh
that.
my gosh. I
Lily
thought you
Tomlin,
guys,
right?
I'm bright. Huh?
With Lily Tomlin.
With Lily Tomlin, I believe, was in it. His character was Dr. Huffar with like
I don't
4
think
R's.
I saw that. I don't think I
Yes.
saw that.
The Man with Two Brains. So to recap, you have A, Father of the Bride, B, The Jerk, C, Three Amigos, or D, The Man with Two Brains.
So we have to determine the top box office.
Of those 4 movies, yes.
Go ahead, Melinda. You get to go. Always get to go first. Ladies first.
Okay. Would you guys be surprised to know that I went out with Steve Martin when I lived in LA?
What?
No way.
What do we even? Why are you bearing the lead?
I said, would you be surprised?
Yes.
Yes.
Me too. I wish I would have.
Okay.
Show myself next week. I've had it with these two.
I feel like the Jerk. You got me on that one.
I mean, that kind of would work. That kind of would work. He's about 15 years older than you.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you go out? Why wouldn't he go out with you?
I will tll you one day my story about Bill Bixby because that's real. But anyway, Steve Martin. So it's either The Jerk, Parenthood, or The Man with Two Brains.
Or The Father of the Bride.
There's 4.
Yes,
Father
ma'am.
of the Bride, The Jerk, Three Amigos,
Three
Man
Amigos.
with Two Brains. Yep.
And biggest box office domestic. I'm going to say, Tom, don't get bored. Are you bored?
No, ma'am.
Oh,
I love it. I love
okay.
Are you going to break down either one of those movies? You want to talk a little bit about the movies, or?
Well, I'm not going to break it down like you do. I
What
don't.
you're thinking?
Tom's a break. Why don't you break them down, Tom?
I will after Belinda makes her guess.
He doesn't want to give you the information he's thinking.
I feel, well, yeah, because he knows I won't listen to him anyway.
Yeah.
I feel like I'll probably keep
wasting
my
each other.
streak of losing, but I feel like Parenthood was a reboot and they're rebooting it again. I feel like there was a lot of follow-up on Parenthood. So,
It was a reboot. You're right.
Parenthood wasn't even an option, darling.
no, but I'm
Father of the Bride.
I'm
Father
talking
of the
about,
Bride was a reboot.
sorry, that's what I meant to say, Father of the Bride. That's
Right.
sorry.
I
I'm
knew what
sorry.
you meant.
Tom, did I not tell you today was not my day? I think I was very clear about that at the beginning.
So go ahead, guess Parenthood. The kids are watching. They're learning how people respect and respond to each other.
Parenthood is also a film he did.
Yes,
Ma'am.
that's correct.
Um,
Parenthood actually did more than all of these.
Okay, don't.
So, yeah.
well, then I don't understand the question. The biggest
Of these four, who did the most? Which one was the biggest movie? Father of the Bride, The Jerk, Three Amigos, The Man with Two Brains.
I'm gonna say, damn it, it's gonna be something we don't expect. So I don't expect it to be Three Amigos. So that's my guess.
Wow. All right, let's break it down.
Break it down.
So, Father of the Bride is a remake from a Spencer Tracy movie. So that's a certified rom-com, and with a tender ending, right?
Yes.
So that's going to be very, very much in the public space. People can go to that of all ages, could go to that movie. Then you got The Jerk, which is probably one of my favorite movies, certainly top 10 of all time, but not as much as another movie of Steve Martin's that I like. So Steve Martin, that was a huge hit, more of a cult classic, I'm going to guess, is The Jerk. Whereas that's, I don't know that all women are going to like that movie. It's kind of goofy, screwball comedy. So I'm going to say that's not going to be number one. So then you're going to have Man with Two Brains with Lily Tomlin. Lily Tomlin was hot at that point in her career. She was, coming off Laughing, and she had albums. So she's going to draw people, or particularly women, to the theater. I'm thinking of that way. If I was going to say, hey, let's go to the movies, then my date is going to say, well, I'd like to see something with Lily Tomlin in it. I like her. All right. And then you've got Three Amigos, which is a Saturday Night Live type of a production. I think that Steve Martin helped write that. I think Lorne Michaels was producing that piece. So you had a huge, Chevy Chase was at probably the pinnacle of his career as well. So you got Chevy Chase, Martin Short, Steve Martin, Lorne Michaels. I mean, that was a huge production. I know there was a big, I think that Martin Short was like the low man on the totem pole on that movie, where he was the new guy, and people really
didn't it get terrible reviews. If my memory serves right, I thought Three Amigos got terrible reviews.
I don't think Three Amigos could be the top. So it's going to be Father of the Bride or Man with Two Brains, and I'm going to go with Father of the Bride as the remake, a solid remake and a great story. Oh, by the way, you didn't pick out my all-time favorite Steve Martin movie, which is Dirty Rotten Scoundrels.
Oh my gosh. Oklahoma, Oklahoma, Oklahoma.
Why does he have a cork on his fork?
I love that movie. I bet I've seen that 30 times.
That was good. That was
every time.
There's so many good ones.
Did you know that was a remake?
No.
Dirty Rotten Scoundrels was the remake. Marlon Brando was in the original. They called it something else.
Wow, I did not know that.
Yeah, Brando did a movie, I think, in the 60s with that same, because apparently it's a book or whatever, and it was called something else.
We're not old enough to remember that, but that's good. Tell us another one, Grandpa.
Okay. I will go with Father of the Bride as number one.
And you went with?
Three Amigos.
Three Amigos, okay.
As the plot.
First of all, the lowest, the one with the smallest box office was a movie that you guys have to see if you haven't seen it. I'm shocked if Tom hasn't seen it. Is The Man with Two Brains, which may be my favorite. The Man with Two Brains or The Jerk are about equal. Man with Two Brains is amazing.
Okay.
And it did $10 million.
Wow, that doesn't surprise me.
Yeah, that was nothing in 1983. So
I was kind of pitching it earlier.
The one that finished in second place that you guys did not pick was The Jerk.
Wow.
Navin R. Johnson, 1979, did $74 million.
Wow, that's amazing. That's wonderful.
Yep, The Jerk was second. In third place,
Melinda's pick.
From 1986.
Just pull the Band-Aid off. She can't take any more of this.
The Three Amigos, $39 million.
Mein Gott in Himmel.
Mein Gott in Himmel.
How do I respond like Tom, where I say I lost, but I won?
Yeah. Well, you knew it was Father of the Bride, but you went the other way just to give Tom a break. Right.
I was clear that it was Father of the Bride,
yes.
And I said Parenthood to throw him off, and he wasn't going to bite, so I decided to give it to him.
Right. I appreciate that.
Okay.
Number one in this list is The Father of the Bride at $89 million,
Wow.
which none of these was a big box office. I have to tell you that the reason I did the four that I liked is because if you look at Steve Martin's list, Parenthood was near the top at $100 million.
Right.
But his number one movie, anybody want to guess? I have never heard of this movie.
Is it the little independent? He wrote a great book that he did an independent film
Shop
about.
Girl.
What?
No.
What, is it Shop Girl? No.
This is from 2014. It is animated. That's why we don't know it.
Oh no.
Yeah, that's how I was when I heard it. I have never heard of the movie Home. It is an animated movie that did domestically $177 million.
Oh.
And worldwide did $386 million.
What? So
Why?
you're saying
Huge animated film.
Home? Is he,
Unbelievable.
is he
I've
just
never
voicing
heard.
it?
It's called Home. It had Jim Parsons, Rihanna, Steve Martin, Jennifer Lopez.
Okay, so he's just part of the cast. He didn't write it or produce it or anything like that.
Right, but he was, one of the leads in it.
Yeah.
But
Wow.
think about, there again, we talk about it every week. It's like the animated movies for the kids, for the kids, how big they were. Did
Children.
$386 million worldwide.
Wow.
Amazing.
We
Amazing.
got to do an animated flick, guys. We got to do it.
I know. I think, have you guys talked about doing a special episode of podcast about how to get your product on HSN QVC?
No, we're not doing that.
No. All right. Well, thanks very much. Congratulations.
So what was it? So what were the top? Do you have the ranking of all the Steve Martin movies? So Home is number one. Number two is Parenthood.
I do. Home is number one.
Where does Dirty Rotten Scoundrels lie? Lure.
Well, if you can vamp for a second, I'll tell you.
Sure. Well, plus, let me say this. So you're saying that did $89 million. That was Father of the Bride. But that's also, think about this. That's 1995 money or 1989 money. Plus,
Right.
those types of shows aren't really blockbusters. Star Wars, super animation or super CGI, unbelievable stories.
Yeah.
Those are the ones. But it's rare that a rom-com cracks 100 million, even today.
That's true.
Sandra Bullock and somebody else. But usually you got to have a lot of action going on in order to get all those folks. I mean, 70 million for a rom-com, that's good, very, very good money.
Right.
Isn't it amazing how much the type of movie, how much that matters more than anything else?
Well, people go to the movies for an experience, especially now. If you could watch Father of the Bride on a big screen TV, and you don't need to be to that super mega theater. Where if you watch Star Wars at home, it's like I really wish I was in the theater.
Well, here's Steve Martin's top. I'll give you the top five. Home, which again never heard of it. Domestic box office of 177. Second was It's Complicated from 2009.
Oh, that was with
Alec Baldwin and
Meryl Streep.
Streep.
Yep.
$112 million. Third was The Prince of Egypt, which I believe was animated. That was $101 million. Wait a minute, hold on.
You don't think of Steve Martin as being a voiceover?
Cheaper by the Dozen, 2003.
Oh, that was adorable.
Cheaper by the Dozen, Bringing Down the House, It's Complicated, The Prince of Egypt, Parenthood, Father of the Bride. They were like back to back, 89 and 91. Was one no, one had nothing to do with the other, right?
Steve Martin has such a solid fan base, and he's proven to be a really good guy. He's a philanthropist. He's written interesting books. He collects all kinds of interesting art. And I think he became a first-time dad at age 70 or something crazy.
Yeah,
finally figured out how that works.
It took him that long. Tom, what was your favorite movie again? You said
it is Dirty Rotten Scoundrels.
Dirty Rotten Scoundrels.
Probably made $30 million.
42 million, 1988. By the way, other movies that jumped out at me that I loved was I love Roxanne.
Yes, gosh.
Little Shop of Horrors was great.
Yeah, that was great.
Um,
All right.
and another sleeper. I'll leave. Oh, Shop Girl, by the way, was very good. But Dead Men Don't Wear Plaid. Do you remember that one?
I forgot about that one.
It was a
Yeah.
fun movie. It was very experimental. It was fun.
Yeah.
Yep, exactly. So, anyways, Mr. Steve Martin, ladies and
Very good,
gentlemen, and he plays banjo, so that should get
He
him some extra points.
does. He has a musical group he tours with.
He's amazing. He's
yeah.
really world class. Yeah, great.
Well, he and Martin Short are doing a two-man show now, right?
Yeah, that would be fun to see. We should all go to see it together.
Steve Martin Short.
See it together. I saw one of their shows together online, and it was adorable and funny, and it's emotional and sweet, and definitely worth seeing.
Amen. All right. Well, Davis, you've done it again.
Well, you've done it again.
Boys.
Brought the show to a complete halt.
It's my job. I'm the anchor of the show.
We're caught on a bush.
Done.
Ta-ta for now. TTFM.
Thank you, sir.
Ta-ta.
And like that, like COVID, he's gone.
Just like COVID, he disappeared.
Bum,
You know
bum.
what? I have recommended Dirty Rotten Scoundrels to a lot of people because it's a movie you can watch over and over again. It's
It's classic.
on every damn level.
I love it. Yeah.
Laugh out loud funny.
Because, you know, sometimes, and you know, when you start analyzing movies a little bit, like not nowhere near a professional, but, you know, I've listened to people talk about movies. I like listening to, you know, directors, writers, everybody being interviewed on a podcast, whatever. You know, well, the third act was a little weak and the second act was a little whatever. So if you start looking at a movie like that, it's like, oh yeah, you know, you will watch a movie and all of a sudden it kind of falls off the rails for a little bit and finishes strong or finishes weak or whatever it's going to be. But that movie, you can watch every scene means something, advances the story, him in the wheelchair.
Right?
It's just all crazy with the sailors and I love the ending. I won't give it away, but I mean, just the last scene of the movie is like, wow.
Wow.
Crazy.
Yes. When I started traveling to Oklahoma for work, the first time I went, I just put on Facebook, Oklahoma, Oklahoma, Oklahoma. And the people that got it gave me such a thrill because when you know that you like the same movies and people that were like, what? I'm like, watch the show. We'll talk later. It's one of the funniest moments, I think, in the film.
You know, that actress has passed. The female lead in that movie.
You know?
Yes.
No.
Died, I think, about a year ago.
No.
She was great.
What's her last name? She was from a famous family with famous siblings, correct?
I cannot confirm.
I'm gonna have to look it up. I thought she was one of the I'll look it up. I thought she was from that family that have all female sisters that are in the industry. If I'd say the name, you'd remember. I'll think of it in a minute. Okay. At the end of the show.
Yeah, tomorrow. Give me a call tomorrow.
Yes.
Look at how big this thing is.
What a bragger about size. What a bragger. Any way you can work that in.
It looks like it's, you're going to see my.
Uh-oh. Oh, we're going to see your shorts. Look at the size. Look at that. It's all about the size.
That's Costco, $15.
Stop it with the Costco.
I love it.
You need help.
I'm going to get a camper and just live outside Costco.
You need help.
So what are the topics? We have a few minutes to go. Davis took the whole chunk.
That's okay. I will say, I saw something on social media I thought was so funny, and I wanted to ask you, and I don't know if it pertains to you because you live in Florida. Florida's open, and you guys are living normal lives now, whatever. We're still closed down. Someone posted today in New York, they said, you know, right now it's so weird because it's the apocalypse, but you can still go to Starbucks.
It's crazy. I mean, people are clearly getting ill from the virus. It doesn't seem like no one's on a ventilator from the virus recently. So the question is, what's going on?
I don't know. Here in New York, they've closed down 9 school districts because the numbers have gone up. And we're still getting news reports. Some man in his 20s was put on a respirator and died from COVID. No extenuating precondition, you know. So I don't know. I think our news is different. So we get a lot more.
But are we going to get excited about outliers is the question. Some guy gets a cold and he dies. I mean, is this how we're going to live our lives? I mean, I don't know what the answer is.
I don't know what the answer is. It's
Ugh,
confusing because across the board in the United States, we're all handling it differently.
I know.
We all have different rules. So there's nothing to make you feel like you're making a right choice ever.
Who wants to live? Nobody wants to live in an overreactive state. Nobody wants to be sitting home in a panic. People want to be out and about, but is out and about the wrong answer? I mean, you just see all the whole looks at the White House, just they're done. Everybody's got it. So let's just sit back and see if everybody gets healthy. Maybe it's like we don't have to worry about it. I
I
don't
mean,
know. That would be
right?
nice.
This will be a good social experiment to see what really does happen, because clearly it spread quickly because they weren't wearing masks. So let's just see what the response is. Maybe this will give us a better idea of the infection and how people respond. So I don't know, but
All
anyway, I
right.
didn't mean to bring that down as a bummer.
Ugh.
Okay,
First
I've got
this, then the politics. It's all going
the
down.
politics. Okay, here's a topic, Tom. If something granted you 1 billion with a B, 1 billion with a B dollars, what would you do right away? How would you handle it? $1 billion. What's your thinking?
I've seen people post something similar on Facebook. I think
Not
they're
a
looking at,
million.
well, a billion is way so much more money than you could. A million makes you think, or 10 million. This is just me looking at the question. A million or 10 million makes you think about it. A billion is like you could just shit out $100 bills. It's never going to affect
Well,
anything.
would you shit out $100 bills? What would you do?
I would start shitting out $100 bills.
No, I'm curious. Tell me, what would you do with $1 billion?
$1 billion. Oh, I think with $1 billion, gosh, it's insane. You could do a lot of good with $1 billion. You'd keep 100 million for yourself, and there's 900 million to go around, and you could maybe solve a particular thing. But here's an interesting thing about that is people who are given things rarely respect them. They appreciate it at the moment, but then there's, lack of appreciation for whatever free thing you gave your brother-in-law or or whatever it is. People on welfare getting checks. I like getting checks. Maybe I won't work. So, and that's always a big fear. I think of if you see rich people and their kids turn out shitty. You know, yeah,
Yeah.
kids are fun trust fund babies or something, and they don't learn
Yeah.
how to work and they don't appreciate their life. I would hate to have a lot of money and just tell my kids to put their feet up, because why should I it's crazy thought. Why would you want to stop them from having a fulfilled life, chasing their dreams?
Yeah.
Just because you got $1 million or $10 million doesn't. It's not all about money. It's about let's try to accomplish something or do something, right? And you'd be taking it away from people, and people will argue with you. No, we want the free stuff. Really, you don't want the free stuff. We don't want anybody dead in a ditch or nobody not eating, but you
Right.
also don't want to take away the opportunity to work for what you want. We got 10 minutes left.
Well, so what would you do?
I've never been super altruistic. I'm not going to buy the state of Montana so every dog can run free in Montana. I would not do that.
Okay.
I would think about something like, what a big thing I would like to forward. Here's just off the top of my head. How about free high-speed internet across the entire country?
Yes.
Right? Some cities do that where you go into a city and
Yes.
all of a sudden they're broadcasting internet. So, I mean, everybody anywhere. So now we got that all equal footing to equal access to information, which is so important. And so also distributing information and joining in conversation about, sharing ideas, using
Yes.
the internet truly for good, but giving it to everybody. That would be a
Yes.
nice free thing that everybody could have. It's not breaking your back. I mean, it's $100 you don't pay a month towards some service. Just broadcast it out there.
What
And
else?
then I'd have my own channel where I broadcast myself and force everybody to watch me at least 2 hours a day. If you want to continue to have the free internet, do my bidding. I'll start my own army.
Well, I recognize $1 billion is a lot, but obviously the point is the sky is the limit. Nothing's stopping you from
Right.
doing anything.
Right.
So
Well, you see people like that have those massive amounts of dollars, like the guy that came up with 5-hour energy. Have you ever watched a bio on him?
yes.
I mean, one of his big deals was energy and water, particularly in third world. So he's putting a lot of effort. I mean, millions and millions of dollars into those things. I mean, he's talking about, geothermal energy spots in the
Yeah.
middle of Africa where they're drilling a hole
Yeah.
in the ground 17 miles till you get
Yeah.
to the molten lava, and then they're taking, what is it? It's not copper, but it's a I'm a big fan of this technology. It's a superconductor that's super lightweight and super strong.
Okay.
It'll come to me, and they're making a cable of this stuff, and they just put it
Okay.
down into that hole, and it gets super hot. It would melt the copper immediately, but this
Okay.
will actually
Yeah.
transmit the heat. Now you got heat, so you can have like a bubbling steam power plant anywhere in the world if you could just dig a hole down low enough. It'll
So would you participate in that? Do you think if you had that kind of,
I mean, free energy would be amazing.
yes,
I
keep
mean,
going, keep
yeah.
going.
I mean, so now you turn that energy into battery power or some sort of technology where if you could solve the energy problems and water problems and internet problems, you could solve a lot of problems for people,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
So there's my
I
how
love.
much have I spent now?
Well, I love the idea. I actually saw a friend of mine, Henry Penix is a friend of mine. He was one of my vendors at HSN, and he posted this on Facebook yesterday. And I started thinking, you know what? I love the concept of like, let's go there. What's the sky's the limit? For me personally, I've always believed very firmly in paying it forward. But you're right, people. Human nature teaches us we need to work towards something to respect it more. So I would do a whole pay it forward thing, and I would definitely get think tanks across. First, I would start in the United States until I could branch out further and figure out and get people that are smarter than me involved in think tanks where they can solve some crisis problems that are affecting us immediately. Like, I don't want to have meetings to have meetings to have more meetings, but like, let's get some shit done, right?
Right.
And then I think I've had this TV show idea for a while now,
Go
Tom.
on.
It's about angels paying it forward. And basically,
Angels.
angels, but you make people the angels. So basically I say, we put a TV announcement and say, okay, if you're in LA next week, there's a team of angels. We're looking to pay it forward. So all good deeds are going to be noticed. When we see you doing a good deed, we're going to highlight you. So that way you're encouraging people to pay it forward. So whatever comes out of that show, let's say Nancy helps Bob, then we say, okay, Bob, you pick a city. Bob picks a city, and then we go, next week in Milwaukee, pay it forward. We're going to be looking. And then you start getting this pay it forward thing going. So it starts to grow, and it's called like angel whatever.
Right.
So people are being reminded how good it is to pay it forward, and how they'll start recognizing, even if they don't get on the show or win a prize, what a wonderful thing that is for themselves and for their community. So I would want to do that also. And then I hope that I wouldn't want to hurt my enemies. I think if I had that kind of money, it'd be very tempting to try to harm your enemies.
What else is the point of having a lot of money?
I think
Do you
that's when you
understand
find
what
out
money's
who you
for?
are. You know, we talk about these billionaires being monsters. We don't know what it feels like to have no limits. No limits. You know, we're complaining about politics, but quite honestly, the people that are in power, the people we'll never meet and we'll never know. They're behind the scenes. They're the smart guys. Nobody's in front and center if they have that kind of money and they want to create real decisions, right? They're behind the scenes. So I think that having that kind of power doesn't make you, it just shows you who you are, right? It
Right.
just kind of shows you who you are. And
Sure.
you might be a jerk for a minute because you get irritated, but if you're already a piece of shit, you're just going to be a bigger piece of shit.
That's what they say about money. Makes you more of what you are. Nice person.
Yeah, and I
Nicer.
think that's true. But I love the idea of having $1 billion because you could make the world a better place, and you could teach other people to be their best selves, because it's up to each one of us individually. We can't change people per se. It's our own personal decision. But I love that idea. It's very exciting.
Yeah, I think another third thing I might do is to encourage entrepreneurship and
Yes.
offer seed money, and then doled out in small amounts as you're getting this. As you develop a product, you're going to get a bit more money as you did. But it's all triggered by things that you do and accomplish, and then you get the next chunk of change, whatever. But it'd be fun to talk about.
It's super fun to talk about.
Hey, we got 3 minutes to go left in the show. I got one topic:
Do it.
sports betting.
Oh, yeah. Yes.
Yes. So I made 3 bets yesterday. Oh my gosh, I bet $16.50 to win 5 because it's a crazy bet when you lose those things because you lose 16.50 to when you're just trying to make 5. And the Bucks were down 14-7 for the longest time, and finally they came back and they ended up winning the game. So I won my $5 after I risked my
Okay.
16.50. But had I played the spread, this is going to confuse a lot of folks, but the Bucks were giving away 7.5 points. They only won by 7. So had I played a straight bet against the spread, I would have lost that $5. I
Woo.
lost the Bears bet and I lost the Dallas bet. So I net negative $5 for the week. Actually, negative $6 for the weekend.
When you do the betting online, then it shows you scores and shows you like it just updates you as it happens, so you see what
Yeah,
happens.
your betting site about 3-4 hours after the game's over, they settle.
Okay.
They want to make sure that there's nothing unusual that happened if the game didn't get
Oh,
recalled or something, which never happens. But they just, there's no reason for them to pay out instantly if there's something's happened,
yeah,
so they can't get the money back.
that makes sense. So I'm going to start doing it. Thank you for getting me to start betting. I'm going to start. It's the apocalypse, and I'm just going to start doing crazy shit I've never done before, and I'm going to bet on sports that I never watch.
There you go. And then what's nice about that? If you're betting on sports
Yes,
that you never watch, you don't have an emotional component to the bet. You can
that's true. That's
you
true.
bet just the numbers. I mean, I've got 16.50 in play for a $5 win with the
Uh-oh.
Lakers playing Miami for the finals of
Oh
basketball.
no.
Yeah,
Our timer says less than a minute. Is it just going
we're
to
down
cut
to
it?
1 minute and 30 seconds.
Okay.
And we'll talk more about sports betting maybe another time. We'll bore everybody so you can listen to this podcast when you have trouble sleeping.
Yes, please. We have that effect on you.
We'll talk more about sports betting.
You completely pass out. Well, I want to tell people that are watching, continue to write in and tell us what you want to hear about. And we are, if you have suggestions for music, because I know Tom is bringing in his Unpacking Some Shit original sound
45 seconds ago.
competition. And we're going to be moving to podcasts so you can listen to it
Yes.
when you have time to watch us on YouTube.
It's going to be so exciting.
So
Well,
excited.
by the way, my name's Tom Wise. This is Unpacking Some Shit with Wise and McKinsey. And your
Yep.
name is?
I'm Melinda McKinsey. Thanks for tuning in.
Oh, we're just seconds ago. We'll see you next Wednesday. Thanks for tuning in. Thank you. Good day, I said. And then did that stop?